Hi, this is Shankar, and because there is a lot of demand and there has been a lot of requests, though I have no affiliation to any political party, I'm trying to analyze the horoscope of Amit Shah because I'm quite certain about the time of birth and his details. So, it would be give a better analysis. And if BJP is there, he's there in power. So let's analyze his horoscope. His date of birth is 22 October 1965 and the time is 5:25. Place is Bombay. With that, his Lagna jo hai, that comes to be as Virgo, and he has Sun, Mercury in Libra, Ketu in Sagittarius, Saturn in Aquarius, Moon in Aries, Jupiter in Taurus, Rahu in Gemini, Mars in Cancer, and Venus in Leo. So, as far houses are concerned, second house is Sun and Mercury, the fourth house is Ketu, the sixth house is Saturn, eighth house is Moon, ninth house is Jupiter, 10th house is Rahu, 11th is Mars, and the 12th house is Venus. So that's his horoscope. I'll be also taking into considerations the D charts and D60 and also analyze by my NADI system. So a combo of things. Let's see how his horoscope looks like. Now, in his case, the present dasha is Rahu Moon, and during the elections time, that is from 28/4 to 28/4 to 35, he will be in the period of Rahu Moon Mars. I mean, when the results will come out and the government will get formed, that is in the month of April and May. It will be Rahu Moon and Rahu Moon Mars. So the main important planet here are Moon and Mars, which are going to play a very important role, and of course Rahu. Rahu in his D1 is placed in the 10th house. It is placed in the 10th house. It is ruled by a Mars. The nakshatra lord is Mars, which is Brikshira nakshatra, and which also shows that Rahu, a planet which is very rash in nature and very very aggressive and does things quickly, being in Brikshira nakshatra gives it a little kind of a deer-like approach also inside, that it thinks, it sees, it's sari rananiti mein, it gives a kind of a hold on Rahu. So it's a very positive thing to have. Now his Rahu is in the 10th house in the D1 chart, which is excellent. I mean, Rahu in the 10th house in D1 chart shows that a person will be in power. The depositor of Rahu, Gemini, depositor of Rahu, which is in Gemini, is Mercury, and Mercury is placed with Sun, Sun and Libra. So Sun is debilitated and it's with Mercury. Second house is the seat of power. As far as I'm concerned, for political power and for being in the government, second house is very important. So he has the depositor Rahu, which is Mercury, is placed with Sun in Libra. Now, if you see that into consideration, you would feel that Sun is debilitated. So it could create issues. But here, the Sun has got an exchange with Venus. And Sun exchange with Venus makes actually a combo of Venus and Mercury together, which is a very big Rajyog by itself, and it denotes wealth and the art to play with 3 to 4 balls. I mean, you are a person who can play with you can juggle with 2 balls in the air and 2 in your hand. That's what they say. So that becomes excellent. Venus Mercury is a very good Rajyog as far as the Bhrigu system is concerned. And Sun becomes actually Swagrahi in Leo. That is the 12th house. So 12th house is basically today, it is when you talk about politics and other thing, 12th house is actually a house of strategy. It is a house what you do behind the scenes. It is the house of computers, communication. It is the house of dealing with people. It is the house of investment. So that is what his role is and has been, and so that fortifies the whole thing. Now, if you look at the whole horoscope, he's drawing the dasha of Rahu, Moon. Rahu in the 10th house and Moon is in the 8th house. Again, Moon is in the 8th house. People would feel that Moon in 8th house is bad, but there is an exchange between Moon and Mars. Now, the exchange of Moon and Mars itself is a very big Raj Yoga. It is an exchange between the 8th and 11th house. So it shows that the person can spring surprises. He will have sudden gaze, and he'll be able to do things in the last nth moment. He'll be able to take actions by which things would become better, and very clear Moon and Mars exchange is very good. If you look at here, when I do it as per my NADI system, the exchange of Moon and Mars is there. It is considered to be as good as Sagrahi, and Mars, while coming back to its house in Aries, first touches Venus. Venus is a planet which is about relationship. It's about seat of power. It is out of partnership. Those kinds of things. So that is going to get fortified in this current elections which are there, because the dasha of Rahu, Moon and Mars will be there. So this, what I'm trying to explain, is very important. So Mars will touch Venus, so he will be engaged in computers, communication, showing things, etc., etc. Then it goes and touches Mars and Sun and Mercury, which shows dealing with here Sun is both debilitated as well as strong. So it shows that how to deal with people in power in the way it should be, in terms of having a heavy hand on issues. And Mercury shows tacit kind of a tacit communication power, plus the art to divide people, and after dividing, keeping a balance, because it is in Libra. Then it touches Ketu. So again, Ketu is again division. Then it touches Saturn. Saturn is power. It is structure, order, discipline, and comes back to Aries in the 8th house. And the 8th house is again about sudden gains. And from the 10th house, 8th house, 11th from the 10th. So it is the gain of power and prestige. So as far as, we should not confuse a planet negative. It is negative for all aspects. 8th house will have issues of health, etc., etc., which we can talk later. But here I am just concentrating on how the horoscope would be in terms of the elections in 2019. So this exchange here, Mars is 11th from 10th. Finally, that means this particular gentleman, from the period from 13.3 to 35, 13.3 to 35, will do things which will computers, communication, finance, partnership. There is a clear thing of division. He will divide. He will discuss, because Mercury is there and Ketu is there. Mercury means intellect and Ketu means division. So he will be very successful, be able to divide either people which are opposite him, or people who are within his party. He will be able to do things. Ketu is a planet of secretiveness, so secretly it will be done. And Saturn is there. Saturn Saturn is in its own house in Aquarius, and it is in 6th house, so he will be able to crush his enemies, and he'll be able to give a crushing defeat to his enemies. And finally it comes to Aries, which shows that he will win. He will win, because Mars, that is the way Mars travels, coming to Moon, while Moon goes to the 11th house, and while making the gain happen, it will be touching Jupiter and Rahu. Jupiter shows that apparently methods which look wise, which will have legitimacy around, which will be like as per rules and regulation. Jupiter is a guru. It does everything which is as per rules and regulation. And Rahu is there. Rahu again is a planet which will apparently things would be as per rules and regulation, but Rahu would give a touch of working and thinking, quote unquote, out of the box. With that, it will come to its own house, that is 11th house, and there it will be it will begin. So as far as the D1 chart is concerned, the dasha and the bhukti which is there shows a clear coming him into power, gain of profession and prestige, and by the methods I have already explained. If you look at D10 chart of his, D10 chart, Rahu is in the 8th house. It is Vargotam. It is Vargotam because it is in Gemini only, and but it is in the 8th house. Now, Rahu, when it is in the 8th house, it shows that a lot of working underground. It's like everything which is behind the scene. It is a lot of things which कहते हैं ना कि आपको पीछे से बहुत काम करना पड़ेगा, अंधेरे में काम करने पड़ेगा. You work at night. You work with issues which are generally not, which are strategies, you can call them, good strategies in place. So that is Rahu in 8th, and Rahu is in Gemini again, which shows the power to communicate and put things rightly. But however, Rahu is in 8th house, which shows that it will be anxiety. It will be a kind of anxiety and a fight which is there, and it's going to be a demonic fight because Rahu is demon, and he will do everything. 8th house is an important house in terms of doing things to repeat behind the scenes. And if you look at Moon in the D chart, it is in the 11th house, in the house of Virgo. So Moon in Virgo I consider to be as good as exalted. So this Sabdasha will give him kind of gain finally. So 8th house and 11th house, that means he will work, and finally it will give him it will give him gain, and it will be something where 6th house is something where a person gains, the man gains. So it will be like he will get the credit of the whole thing also in terms of the gains which are coming to him personally. So it is also a very good chart in terms of his getting personally rewarded in a very big way. And you will also see that Mars is with Ketu, which is a Sabdasha, which is operating between 24 2019 to 35 2019, which is with Ketu. Mars with Ketu in the house of Sagittarius means shooting precisely, shooting clearly, pointedly, and Ketu means both the things. First, it cuts, and it is also a flag. It is a dhwaj. So, Mars and Ketu together, it's like, the dhwaj will be there. So, very clearly from the D10 chart again, it shows that with strategy, with division, and with solid planning, the person will come back into power. If you look at D60, in D60 Sun is with Rahu. When Sun is with Rahu, it is in the 12th house. It shows a excellent gain. Sun and Rahu both are in Leo. Sun and Rahu when in Leo, it actually puts, he will personally get a position which is a much more exalted position than what he is today. 12th house deals with the finance, it deals with investment, it deals with the foreign countries. So and it could be it also deals with to some extent even defense, because externally you are fighting people. So Rahu in the 12th house with Sun is also very good in D60 in 12th house. Let's not misunderstand it. It's going to give what he needs. And a Moon is with Saturn aspected with Jupiter. Moon with Saturn is all about Saturn is about masses, and Moon is about communication. Moon is in the house of Sagittarius, which is the house of Jupiter, which is again aspected by Jupiter. So he will be back seated in the power, and Moon and Saturn together means mass communication will benefit him positively. So even the D60 chart is very well in terms of what is there. There is an element of 8th and 12th house which shows anxiety, which shows investment, which shows that he has to work hard behind the strategy. But since Rahu being a very important planet and it is there in the 8th and 12th house, Rahu functions very well in these houses. I mean, in these houses when it comes to political power, especially Rahu and Surya both in Leo in D60, which is the most sukshma chart. Even when twins are born, we see that chart because a difference of half a minute will make a difference. So I'm very sure the time is correct. So the horoscope of Mr. Amit Shah clearly shows that he will be back in power. He will be in a more exalted position than what he is. He will become a mass leader. So 100% mass communication, mass was there, I told you. So he's contesting a Lok Sabha seat. He will win into it, and then he will get an exalted position. It could be the chief minister. It could be most probably something to do with foreign countries, investments. Those kinds of things would be there. So I can be very sure that with Mr. Amit Shah's horoscope, BJP would return in power, as it is clear that he's returning power. I do not know the details of of our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. I mean, there are a lot of dates and times which are floating, but that is taking a risk. In his case, I am fairly okay with the time. So I feel that this very clear in his chart that he would be back. And as far as transits are concerned, in my system of things, I apply transits not on the D1 chart, but on the D9 chart, because D1 chart shows what is there around you, but what is going to happen is also only by the divisional charts. And in the D9 chart, I use my Bhrigunari principles, which are there in D9. If you see his Saturn is going to be in the 9th house with Mercury, which is excellent. Saturn transiting on Mercury. Mercury is like the Rajkumar. It is a young guy, intelligent guy who can, get things done. It runs, it communicates, it talks. So, and it is a very big advisor to the king, that is the sun. So he would play a very important role by Saturn transit. So Mercury also it is a planet for division and communication. It is in the house of Sagittarius, which is Jupiter. As far as political things are concerned, it is going to be good. Now, everything has a different connotation. Mercury here in Jupiter may, in his family there could be some division also taking place, but he or he may think of dividing his things in a way between his friends, relatives and families, but that is different, so let's not get into that. What I want to make you understand is that what is important at the moment, I'm only discussing about his profession in politics, so he will be able to divide successfully, and the dispositor of Jupiter goes in the 2nd house. That is the opponent. 7th house is the opponent. So he will divide and he will gain. He will divide the opponent and he will gain. It is like your wife. You are going to you're going to make your wife's family feet. When it comes to this. But here in politics, it would be, in case of profession, it would be he would be able to divide and gain from that. So that would be very important as far as he is concerned. There is an element of division behind the talk strategies, etc., which I do not want to repeat. And I have talked about it even earlier. And so Saturn and transit is very good. In the months of April and May, it is retrograde. When it is retrograde, I consider it that it will go in the house behind, and it touches Sun, Venus and Saturn. When it touches Sun, Venus and Saturn, it is like it is instigating his it is energizing Sun, which is power of Venus. Venus is a juggler. It can, it is a planet which, as per our mythology, used to advise the demons. So it knows all the tricks of the trade, all the methods to actually take care of devious things. So he will be able to do that. And Saturn is, of course, profession. It is a retrograde Saturn which it excites. So it will be a combination of 6th and 5th house. So he will be both. And then there is Rahu there. So it actually shows very Saturn and Rahu together in fifth house shows a very big increase in his own in his own status, and he would be considered as and his all his activities would be, and Saturn and Rahu are together. I mean, Rahu is again a man in a hurry to go and shoot and get it, and and Saturn is a person which tells relax. It's a wise man. So man in hurry, if it is guided by a wise man, it is like कहते हैं सोने पे सुहागा है. So that would be there in his case. So it clearly shows that between April and May he would be back in power. He would be advising. He would himself be in a great position. He would be. It's going to lay a foundation stone for him, which will be of a different order. As far as Jupiter is concerned, Jupiter again is exciting. Sun, Venus, and Saturn, and it also gets retrograde, so it touches Rahu. So it shows again, he will be able to do very firm and things which are required in politics with a clear with at least an outer covering which would be right, but he will be able to forcefully put his hand and get issues cleared. So as far as I'm concerned, both the transit and the retrograde position which is there of Saturn and Jupiter when applied on D9, and the method which I use, which I cannot explain in totality, it's an excellent time. And of course, there is, to repeat, there is strategy, there is division, that is behind the scene working. But it is for sure that Saturn being retrograde and coming back to the seat of power with Rahu, it shows that, if it would have been a horoscope of a serviceman, I would have said he would become a politician, a businessman. So, it's with these he will be back in power and in a position which will be enviable. So with this, I clearly feel that BJP is going to come back in the elections of 2019, and I have no doubt about it. Let's see. That's my analysis. I've done it. I've tried to explain the technicalities, but of course I can't explain all the details of the technicalities, and people would like to ask me questions. You can contact me at connectingminds@gmail.com, connectingminds@gmail.com. I have my site, Facebook, and also very soon I will be writing my 21st, 22nd book, which will be coming on certain aspects of the NADI system. Thanks, and bye for now.